And we're back here for you on Live Now from Fox. Senator Ted Cruz live at the Capitol talking about border security. Let's listen here on Live Now.
That appear in Texas every single day. I asked him how many children were brutalized by human traffickers. He said, I don't know. How many women were sexually assaulted? I don't know. How many people died of drug overdoses? As John Cornyn told you, it's more than 100,000. And you want to talk about something stunning? I put up a photograph with pictures of colored wristbands. I said, Mr. Secretary, what are these wristbands? And he said, I have no idea what they are. Now look, any good lawyer will tell you, you don't ask a question you don't know the answer to. That was one answer that left me flabbergasted. Because just about every single illegal immigrant who crosses the border wears one of those wristbands. They're color-coded for how many thousands of dollars they owe the cartels. And if you stand on the banks of the Rio Grande River, you see hundreds or thousands of these wristbands. They're just like this. These are the wristbands picked up from the banks of the Rio Grande River. And the little boys, the teenagers who come in who owe thousands of dollars to the cartels, they're sent to every city in America, and they're working for the cartels to pay off those thousands of dollars. They're committing crimes in Washington, D.C., and New York, in every city in America. And if they don't pay off the cartels, their families will be murdered. And as bad as the boys have it, the girls have it even worse. There are literally thousands upon thousands of girls trapped in sex slavery to pay off their debts to the cartels. When I look at these are modern-day leg irons. This is human slavery. And it is caused by the Democrats not giving a damn about the people being abused. And so I want to make a plea to the press. The reason the Democrats can do this, can look the other way, is because they're confident that the corporate media will not report on it, that they'll never have to answer questions about it. They'll never be confronted with the dead bodies, with the people being brutalized by these policies. So I want to make a plea to you. If you're not writing on it, if you're not running stories on it, if you're not telling what's happening, you are complicit in modern day slavery. This is indefensible. It's evil.
That's exactly right. Senator Graham, thank you for putting this together. Thank you for your leadership. One of the things that you touched on at the very beginning is that Democrats say we have no solutions. I guarantee you, if you take a look at this group up here, we have put forth solution after solution after solution. I mean, you look at H.R. 2 and what you're trying to move here in the Senate. You look at the work you've done. Guys, I would have never seen the border firsthand if this woman didn't know that I needed to see it immediately upon entering the United States Senate. I followed up with a trip with John Cornyn because they care. These people down there, Senator Blackburn would talk to them. She knew them. We walked through and we got to hear women tell us their story. And their stories are brutalizing. And to Senator Cruz's point, if you're not telling it, that's on you. Because when a woman sits there and she tells you not just about being raped, but how many times a day she's raped. When she tells you about having to lay in that bed while they come in and out and in and out, it's disgusting and it's despicable. Folks, you look at the number of people that have died at the border because Joe Biden has made it more and more enticing to come here. Make no mistake, this is a result of failed policies. We could fix this. We can't throw money at this and fix it. We have to actually change the policies. I looked in the eyes of CBP agents who said, we're exhausted. We're not only having to be paper pushers, we're also trying to do what we did, what we took an oath of office to do, and that is protect this border. But when they tell you about finding small children who have drowned in that river or pulling a lifeless body of a woman who is pregnant with twins, it changes the way you think about what's happening. Drug cartels, guys, they have their tentacles all over this country. We need you to start telling that story. To Senator Cruz's point, they will tell you exactly how much they paid to get here. Then they'll tell you where they're going, what their job's going to be, and how much more they owe. Got it? And guess what? Just the other day in Alabama, a gentleman told me, if you will come back here with me in this neighborhood right behind you, you will see migrants who are here illegally, and they will tell you about the drug cartels coming around every other week to collect. Guys, that's not the American dream. That's an American nightmare. We know what policies work. President Trump had secured the border. We know what to do. We just have to have a leader who has the courage to do it. And I am so sick of Joe Biden lecturing us about the soul of America. Let me tell you, he needs to have the heart to actually listen to people. He needs to have the compassion to actually hear those stories, the willingness to work with people. And Joe Biden needs the courage to take decisive action. We are standing here ready to do this, and what he put forth in that supplemental is an absolute joke. It will only facilitate this crisis more and more every day. By the end of his tenure, we will have over 10 million people here, which would make that, by the way, if you put everybody in one place, the 11th largest state in the United States of America. Folks, this is out of control. We've got to do something. We would not allow this to happen in a third world country. We certainly should not allow it to happen in the United States of America.
And finally, we've seized enough fentanyl this fiscal year to kill everybody in the country. And ISIS smugglers are now getting people into the United States. We'll take questions, but finally, there's an opportunity to fix this, don't you think?
Yes.
We gotta fund the government. We gotta sit down and do what's right by our military. We got a lot of needs. This to me is at the top of the list. So to my Democratic colleagues, this is an opportunity to fix this problem. Work with us.
Senator, when you say that you would insist on border provisions in this government CR, are you saying you'd vote no on it in its current form?
The CR that gets us to November will probably be a smaller version of what we need. In November, whatever the time period, we're going to need some funding and some policy changes for the border, and that will give us about 6 weeks to work out a package.
So you're saying you're okay on it in the short term?
Well, I'll just speak for myself, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, sorry, just to clarify on that. So you're looking for border security on not just appropriations, but a CR. So are you willing to shut down the government if there's no border security in a CR?
What I'm saying is that we're not going to leave this issue unattended and unaddressed. The House is going to insist that there be border security fixes. I think we're all saying we agree with the House. Getting the government open until, let's say, November 17th is one exercise. It'd be a smaller exercise, but come November the 17th, whatever date they pick, I expect we'll have substantial fixes to a broken border.
But so you don't plan on trying to do something in the CR on this, Senator Graham? You don't know. Go ahead.
So let me suggest something also, which is y'all ask that same question of Democrats. And here's a simple question to ask. Chuck Schumer, are you willing to shut the government down in order to stop any effort to secure the border? Are you so committed to this chaos at the southern border that's destroying New York City that you're willing to shut the border down? And this is where they count on the press to ask questions. Why are Republicans shutting the border down? No, the Democrats could do something about it. They don't want to. And so I would encourage you to ask every single Democrat senator, are you willing to shut the government down in order to keep Joe Biden's open border? Because they'll be flabbergasted. They've never gotten questions like that from the press. And that's exactly where they are and what they're insisting on.
Senator Cruz, can I ask you, though, because I know we heard from Senator Graham, would you vote no on this current CR?
I already did vote no on this current CR. So yeah,
so
yes, I would.
On the next round, right, exactly. Senator Cruz, may I ask you really quickly about India? As you know, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau last week announced that Canada has credible information suggesting that
That's an important question, but we're going to stay focused on the southern border and immortation. So I'm happy to talk another time.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Republicans in the House have a CR plan that has border provisions involved in it. The only problem is they might not have the votes to get it passed within their own party.
Yeah.
Is there a need for them to get that bill passed so that you have some type of leverage when we get to negotiating time with the House and the Senate?
Well, look at it this way. This is an opportunity to do something about a problem that's way out of hand. To my Democratic colleagues, do not consider this a burden. Consider this an opportunity. I want to keep the government open. I think we'll have to do a supplemental in November if we can't pass the appropriation bills. I guess what the House is saying makes sense to me. There will be no legislation without strong border security. And if the Democrats will not work with us to fix the border, then I will be not only incredibly disappointed, they will accept the blame, which I think will lead to a wipeout in November of next year. So here's the message. I've worked on illegal immigration with Democrats for decades. I am not going to let this pass. I agree with the House Republicans that we should have strong border security measures. I'm looking to Senator Cruz and Cornyn to help us fashion that because they live this problem. Is it too much to ask of the Democrat president and the Democratic Senate Majority Leader to work with us and the House to start making down payments and put solutions on the table to fix a border that's leading to enough people, enough fentanyl coming in to kill everybody in the country, ISIS smugglers, and all the numbers you just heard?
Oh, can the CR be a way to get leverage, though, to get those done?
Well, I'll leave that up to others.
Well, and let me say this, and we should wrap up, but some of y'all may know Brandon Judd. He's the head of the National Border Patrol Union. Brandon is a good friend. I've spent a lot of time talking with Brandon Judd about what the Border Patrol sees. And one of the interesting things Brandon says is he says they don't particularly need more money.
Right.
They don't particularly need legislation from Congress. What they need is a policy change. What caused this crisis was a decision by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and every Senate Democrat to embrace catch and release. What caused this crisis is when they apprehend people, they're given a court date, years in the future, they're let go, and the vast majority are never seen again. Joe Biden could solve this today because the problem is he is brazenly defying federal law. That's what causes the problem. We can pass 10 bills out of Congress, but as long as we have a president who ignores the law and when people are apprehended, lets them go, this crisis will get worse and worse and worse. And every Democrat in the Senate is complicit in that happening because they won't join together to hold this president accountable.
And let me add, parole. So I think during the Trump years, I think 7 people were allowed into the country through parole. The parole system for illegal immigration requires an individual assessment as to whether or not the circumstances are so dire you deserve to be paroled. They're pencil whipping. There's been 60,000 people granted parole. They're abusing the law as it's written. So Senator Cruz is dead right. You don't need another law to start fixing this. Just change your policies that led to chaos. But we will be working as Republicans to fix a broken border. The question is, will we be working by ourselves?
Thank you.
All right, there we go. Senate Republicans speaking on the need for more border security, slamming the Biden administration in the same moments as well, claiming that they are not doing enough on the southern border, and that is why we are seeing issues in New York City and many others as well here. It is a new